What's going on, everybody? JD here. It's time for another Smokey video. It's been a long time, and this one I'm actually going to work on the car in the video, or at least try to. I'm going to give it a shot filming. It's a little bit bright, as you guys can see. Hopefully I can correct how bright it is in post, but if not, I'm going to look like a ghost. If so, it'll look normal, and this talking won't make any sense. So I'll apologize in advance. Either it's going to look really good or really, really bad. Anyway, today, since we've got a little bit of warm, sunny weather, I'm going to try to diagnose a problem with the car and its drivability. At low speed, say leaving a red light or slowing down to stop for a red light, the car's got a little bit of a shudder. And with the help of my dad, I kind of narrowed it down to one or two particular problems having to do with the brakes. We've got some noise coming from the passenger side rear drum. So what I'm going to do is pull the wheels and tires off the car, the back of the car, and try to have a look at the self-adjuster to make sure they're not adjusted all the way out and binding up, and also see if the drum brakes are actually even in good shape. I'm not really prepared to tear them all the way down and fix them today. I don't have the parts laying at hand. So this is going to be kind of a look, exploratory diagnosis kind of deal. So hopefully this video comes out well. You guys can go along for the ride for the diagnosis with me. So when I come back, the car's going to be up in the air and I'm going to be getting the wheel off. Catch you guys in a second. Just wanted to jump in here for a second. And as you can tell, I'm kind of winded. Now guys, I'm a 250 pound, 260 pound man. I'm not weak, relatively heavy. I can pick up 260 pounds at least once a day to get my big butt out of bed. But I've gotten 2 lugs loose so far, and I want to show you guys the reason that you shouldn't use an impact wrench to crank on lugs. 'Cause I'm doing this by hand with a 4-way. Check this out. I'm gonna adjust the angle of the camera. Alright, so you see there is a lug. I'm gonna hike my pants up. Once again, I'm a big man. I don't want you to have to stare at my crack. But I'm gonna loosen a lug, and I want you to see this. I'm having to stand on the 4-way. That one I'd already kind of cheated and started on. So that's the 3rd one on this wheel. And there's not even a lug on the other one. Okay. Remember when I said this car was a Craigslist bomb? I wasn't kidding. Let's go to the other side and see if it's just as bad. Pardon the camera shake. I'm going to pick you up. And we'll slip over here. This is absolutely awful. Pardon the refocus. It'll get bright for a second. There we go. Alright, let's see if this one's just as bad. I'm winded. A little fatter than I should be. No lug on that one. Okay, awesome. Not really actually awesome, but I think you catch my drift. I swear, those have 100 foot-pounds of torque on them. Yeah, probably more. You're not supposed to do anything more than like 40 or 60. If you read manufacturer specifications, it's nowhere near that much. If it takes a fat man to stand on a 4-way to get the brake loose. Sorry, probably quite a bit of sound effects. I apologize for that. Entirely too much. Yeah, so that one's loose. Last one. Yeah. Kids. This is not a kids don't do this at home. This is a kids just don't friggin' do this. Alright, cool. Now, Now, another refocus, sorry. Now, the next video, we'll have the car in the air. See you guys in a second. Alright guys, I'm at the point of going ahead and pulling it apart, so I'm going to get my watch and rings and all that crap off. And put on my trusty dusty Black Raven gloves and get this wheel off and see what I've got to work with. Now, I'm going to make a statement that's going to sound mean, and I promise I mean it in love. If the previous owner stumbles across my YouTube channel, which the guy I got the car from didn't do the majority of the work, it was the one before him. So, if 2 owners ago, if the story as I've been told about the car is true, happens to stumble on my YouTube channel, I invite you to come to my house so I can teach you what and what not to do while working on a car. Because as you saw in the last clip, these lugs had to have been cranked all the way down with an impact wrench. Now, there's a way to do that correctly, and it's called a torque stick. I don't know how many of y'all are watching for entertainment value. I personally don't think I'm all that funny. Funny looking maybe, but as in comedian, probably not so much. But all that being said, the right way to use an impact wrench to put on a set of lugs to fasten a wheel to a vehicle is a torque stick. And the torque stick's rated to various, yeah, you may have seen them in other videos. They're usually color coded, and they're rated to specific foot-pounds of torque ratings. You put that torque stick on there, and the flex of that torque stick prevents you from over-torquing the lug. Now, the consequences of over-torquing a lug, and it's going to be loud, I'm going to let the wheel fall over. Oh, that sounded awful. Fortunately, the back of the wheel is not what you look at, it's the front. What was I saying? The flex of that torque stick, they're of different thicknesses and made out of a metal that's supposed to flex when it reaches a certain torque rating when you're hitting it with the impact. And as soon as the wrench stops spinning, you say, you stop. And that's how you torque accurately. You go through them in the star pattern, to do it correctly. And then you go back over it one more time just to make sure they're tight. That's obviously not what happened here. Now, okay, that moves a little bit. Oh, I do have a brake bind. And you can kind of hear it. I don't know how well you can hear it. I'm on the driver's side. I haven't pulled off the passenger side yet. The lighting's better over here, and I wanted you guys to see what I was doing to get this off. Being that the drum isn't really cooperating all that well, I'm led to believe it's either got a groove in it and the shoes are sitting in it, which I've taken off obviously because I can spin it, I've taken off the parking brake and all that. So either there's a groove and the shoes are sitting in it, or it's rusted on there because they haven't been off in forever. So I'm gonna give it a couple taps. Look at that lovely rust falling off. Give it some love taps and see if I can get it to release. Oh, you are hung up on there, aren't you? This clip may end up being longer than I want it to be because you're watching me beat on a brake drum, and I'm sorry for that. That is an awful sound. Golly, it's still hung up on there. Ow. Well, I'm gonna stop this clip because I may be sitting here fighting for a few minutes to get this off, and I'll start it back up once I have the drum off. Just a quick check-in. I've managed in probably what is 20 minutes to get the drum this far. Fun, right? Figured I'll let y'all know how it's going. Be back in a minute. As some of y'all may have experienced in your mechanical adventures, it never goes like you would hope. I probably sound a little defeated because, quite frankly, I am. These drums should have been replaced a long time ago, and I imagine that the self-adjuster, which I just can't quite get to yet, might be playing a part in pushing these pads so far out because of how worn the drum is. And I can't feel for a fact how worn the drum is, but from the look of it so far, it's pretty bad. I've gotten my butt kicked here, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. I'm gonna. Ooh, my camera's loose. Let me tighten that up just a second. Last thing I want to do is bounce that off the ground. I'm gonna kind of point you at it real quick. I'm sorry I bumped the mic. It's probably a loud sound. Refocus and zoom. As you can see, I've got that much of the lug left sticking out, and I've gotten the rotor. Not rotor, drum. I don't know if y'all can see. Refocus again so you guys can see what I'm talking about. I've gotten the drum out maybe about an inch, but it's hung up good. Sit you back here and I'll show you how good it's hung up. This hammer, let me see if I can show you. The hammer was straight, and you notice it's now cocked that way. So I've bent a hammer. I run out of options other than beating the absolute snot out of it to get it off. So hopefully the clip after this one here, will be me getting this off finally. As you can see, the lights changed, and the video actually looks good now. Once again, this is all barring that I'm able to color grade and make the previous clips match up with this. But the lights dropped enough now to where my camera is actually looking good, and I've already killed a battery out here trying to film, and I probably won't include any of that that debauchery of me beating the snot out of this I keep calling it a rotor, out of this drum and getting it as far as it is. I'm gonna keep digging at it, and hopefully come back here in just a second with this thing off so we can take a look at what I've got to work with underneath here. I'm gonna guess it's probably not good, but we'll see here in a minute. I'll be right back. Well, victory is mine, and I've made a harrowing discovery. Let's talk about the good stuff first. The lay drum is off, and it's actually not as bad as I thought. I mean, it sucks, but yeah, it's nowhere near as bad as I thought. What is bad, and I'm gonna pull the camera down here and zoom and show you, because this is awful. I want you to notice something. I'm zooming and focusing to get that correct. I'm gonna point at something. You see this here? That is a spring that's not even freaking hooked up. Now, I'm gonna slide it out of here. Let's go ahead and take it all the way out. And if you look in, hold on, let me sit you down and move you over here and focus on. I'm too close, hold on. Zoom on my hand, or focus on my hand. There we go. If you look at the end of this, you see that's coated in brake dust with no wear. And that means the spring wasn't even attached to the spring pin in there. So I know why my brakes were dragging now. One shoe had no retainer spring. Well, it's not. This isn't the retainer spring. This actually pulls the shoe back away from the drum when you're not depressing the brake pedal. So, yay! Good news is it looks relatively new, and it's in great shape because it hasn't been hooked up. But kiddos, that's that's why you don't touch things you don't know how to work on. And I'm going to refocus on my workspace here. This is why you don't, if you don't know what you're doing, don't touch it. I mean, you know, if you're mechanically minded enough to figure it out and do it the right way, of course, do it. But in this particular case, I'm going to have to pull apart these brakes and fix them. So I'm going to get started on that here in just a moment. I'm going to go ahead and stop the filming for a second so I can go show my wife the ridiculousness I just discovered and kind of put together a plan and get me some more light, because while it looks good here on the camera, it's actually pretty dark out here. So I need a little bit more light to work with. Alright guys, I'm back. I don't know how well you can hear me. I'm talking out the back of the mic, but I figured I'd bring you back to a really beautiful, I'm tipping over the tripod, a really beautiful South Carolina sunset, and then show you how the car looks. So let me turn here. I've got my lamps out here so I can see what I'm doing. I'm gonna adjust focus just a touch and zoom in and show you what I've got here. Oh, manual focus, there we go. So that's what drum brakes with the drum off is supposed to look like. As I showed you in the last clip, that harrowing discovery, the spring was off, so therefore my brakes were not working the entirety of the time. Since I've had the car, that's fun. At least this brake wasn't. I've put the spring back on. Let me start from scratch. Everything had shifted on the pin because there wasn't the tension of the springs holding the pads back. So I put the pads back, or shoes back in their proper location. They reinstalled this washer to hold them back. Did I say pads again? Shoes. I pushed the shoes back, put the washer in their correct location. This is the self-adjuster cable. I correctly installed it and then reinstalled both springs. So as you can see, they're properly stacked on that pin now. And that's about it, guys. I now have a properly functioning driver's side rear drum brake. I probably need to do a slight tweak to the self-adjuster just to make sure that the pads are out and making very, very light contact with the drum. But I'll mess with that here in just a minute. But yeah, success, victory is mine, or however the cartoon used to say it. Now I'm starting to show my age now. Those of you who remember the Animaniacs and Pinky and the Brain and all that stuff, that's just running through my head after I finally defeat this gnarly little brake. I wouldn't call it a brake job, but this gnarly little diagnosis and repair that I've done back here on this drum. At this point, I'm freezing. It's dark. I'm working by light, and that's kind of working as my heater to warm me up as I finish off. It's about 35 degrees out here, but we've got a beautiful sunset that's just went down, and I'm gonna slap my car together and then go hang out with my wife. Guys, I appreciate you hanging out. If you've hung out this far in the video, we'll zoom this out. If you've hung out this far, I really appreciate it. Please like, subscribe, all that stuff, you know, the typical YouTuber stuff. And let me know your thoughts, comment, and let me know what you think of this video. It's kind of a new format for me, trying to involve you guys in the, I guess I'll just go ahead and call it what it is, the restoration of a Craigslist buy. So let me know what you think. If you think it sucks, feel free to tell me. All I ask is that if you tell me it sucks, tell me why, so I can work on it and make it better. You guys have a great day, night, whatever time it is that you're watching this, and I'll catch you guys later.
I don't know if you can see it. There we go. Peace. Have a great one.